So today I want to talk about finding the missing angle of a triangle when you have the other two angles right here. So the first thing we want to know is that a triangle always has a total of 180 degrees for its angles. So if you were to add up all of the angles in a triangle, so this angle, this angle, this angle, it always has to equal 180 degrees. That's a rule for any and all triangles, whatever size, whatever shape, however big the angle is on a triangle, they're always gonna add up to 180 degrees. So let's give it a try. Let's see if we can actually solve what this angle is, knowing that all the angles equal 180. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add up the angles that we do know. So 60 and 60. So 60 and 60, 60 degrees plus 60 degrees is going to equal to 120 degrees. All right, so now that we have 120 degrees, let me just write over here. So now that we know we have 120 degrees, we know we have to add in some random number. We have to add in some x, some number that we do not know. So let's write in x degrees. And we know that it's going to equal 180. So now we have 120 degrees plus x degrees equals 180 degrees. Now that we have a simple equation, we can solve it algebraically. And the way we do that is we subtract 120. So we can get rid of it on this side of the equal sign. And then now we subtract 120 from 180. So what's 180 minus 120? Well, we can see that it equals 60. So we can drop down the x degrees so that we get x equals 60 degrees, right? So we can fill it in here. And we know this is true because if we add up all of the 60s, if we add up all of the angles, if we go back and check our work, so 6 plus 6 is 12, and 12 plus 6 equals 18, we get 180 degrees. So let's look at another example. Let's look at an example where the numbers aren't all the same and they aren't all even. So let me just draw a new triangle. Okay, so let's draw a triangle that is, let's say that this is 34 degrees and that this is, let's say, 74. Obviously, right now, the triangle isn't drawn to scale proportionally, but let's just pretend that this triangle would have, this is 34 degrees and this is 74 degrees. Okay, so let's remember that all of the angles added up together have to equal 180 degrees. So once again, we're going to add up the angles that we do know. So that's 34 and 74. So let's write that on the side. 74 plus 34. We get 108. So now let's write this out. So we have 108 degrees plus x equals 180 degrees. And now that we have it in this form, we have 180 plus x equals 180 degrees. We'll subtract 108 on both sides. And our answer when we subtract will be 72 degrees. Right? Because we can drop down the x equals 72 degrees. Now let's replace this x with 72. And if we want to check our work, we can always just add it. So let's do that real quickly right now. Right, so we have all our angles, 74, 34, 72. So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So we put a 0 here, carry the 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. And 11 plus 7 is 18. For a grand total of 180. Let's try one more example. Let's try some funky angles. Let's try some funky numbers. So let's say that we have a triangle with an angle that's bigger than 90. So let's say we have something like this, right? So let's say this angle is, let's say it's 101 degrees, and let's say this angle is, let's say 25, right? We want to find out this angle. Well, to find out the missing angle, again, everything added up has to equal to 180 degrees. So let's add up what we know. So 101 plus 25. 1 plus 5 is 6, 0 plus 2 is 2, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So we have 126. Great. So now let's put it in our algebra equation format. So 126 degrees plus x equals 180 degrees. Perfect. Now we just subtract 126 from both sides. So subtract 126 right here, cross that out, and subtract 126 from this side. And we get 10 minus 6 is 4, 7 minus 2 is 5, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So we can just leave that blank. 54. So our answer is 54. So now we drop down the x. So we get x equals 54 degrees. We'll write that in here. And as always, to check our work, we can add up all the angles again. Right there. So when we add up all the angles, 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 0. Carry the 1, 1 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 5 is 8. And then you drop down the 1, and we have a grand total of 180 degrees. So remember, this 180 degree number is true for any and all triangles. If you have any triangle, as we see here with all these, we tried 3 different triangles, all of their angles must equal 180. So if you ever need to find the missing angle, just remember that they all have to add up to 180.